Welcome to Film Recap. Today, we are going to talk about a sci-fi movie called Pandorum. Beware of the spoilers and have a good time. A man awakens inside a hypersleep chamber disoriented and confused. He is able to release himself from the chamber, and reads that his name is Corporal Bauer. He looks around wondering why there is nobody, and he tries to wake up the hypersleep chamber of his commanding officer with the name Lieutenant Peyton, but is unsuccessful. Suddenly, a power surge feeling like an earthquake is felt on the ship. Lieutenant Peyton is then released from his chamber and is awakened. They discover that they have amnesia due to extended hypersleep and are both confused why there is no one to wake them up, since there is supposed to be a hypersleep rotation of the flight crew. They find that the bridge is inaccessible and that there are continuous power surges happening to the ship. Bauer seems to know that the power surges are coming from the reactor. But he doesn't remember how or why he knows so much about it, so they conclude that he is probably their technical engineer. Bauer decides to enter the ventilation system to figure out what if he can find a way out so that he can get to the reactor. While crawling around and becoming disoriented, he falls down head first. He gets startled when he discovers the body of one of their crew members in the shaft. Bauer manages to free himself, but ends up in a storage locker. He is able to get out and begins exploring the corridors of the ship. He encounters a woman and chases after her, but runs into a hanging disemboweled body. The loud noises attract something with small blue lights that come closer to Bauer. He runs away and hides back in the storage locker, and sees strange humanoid creatures wandering around. Peyton tries to radio, but Bauer immediately turns it off, hoping that the creature did not hear it. The creature attacks the storage container, but takes the body of the deceased crew member, thinking that it caught whatever was hiding in there. Now in fear and having no idea what is out there, Bauer continues on to find the reactor to reset it, while Peyton guides him through the ship. He is able to find a storage locker containing a weapon labeled anti-riot guns, and decides to take one to at least help defend himself from whatever is out there. He finds another body hanging, but is actually alive. The man reveals that he is also part of the crew, but also has no idea what happened and that all he needs to do is run. The noise attracts more of the creatures, and while running away, they capture the man. They eat him. Bauer is able to finally come face to face with one of the creatures and shoots a blast from his weapon, but unfortunately, a barrier of glass stands between them. Bauer runs from the creatures, but is caught by one of their booby traps. But he is saved by a Vietnamese-speaking farmer, and they encounter the same woman who attacked Bauer earlier. Bauer ends their hostility towards each other, and they decide to band together to fix the reactor. The woman brings them into where she was living, and reveals that she is part of the ecological development team to protect all of the different specimens of Earth, like Noah's Ark. Bauer and the woman discuss the origins of the creatures. While Bauer thinks it's an alien that has entered the ship, the woman thinks that they are the passengers of the ship due to the accelerator that was injected into each person's body in order to adapt and evolve to the conditions of a new planet. They instead adapted and mutated to the ship. Peyton hears noises around him, thinking that it's one of the creatures, but he ends up finding a man part of the flight crew, Corporal Gallo. Peyton asks what happened to the crew on the bridge, and Gallo begins to discuss Pandorum, a psychological paranoia caused by deep space travel and extended hypersleep. They continue on to the reactor and encounter more of the mutants. They realize that the blue lights that they carry powers whatever is around them. They struggle to fight against it, due to its enhanced strength and agility. They are eventually able to kill it, but it angers more of the mutants. The three begin being chased, and they notice one of the sleeping pods being powered on with a human being awakened. The mutants immediately jump onto the human and begin devouring him. Bauer wants to save him, but it is too late. They escape into a barricaded chamber and meet a cook who lives there. He feeds Bauer's group and shows them the mural drawings for the Great Mission of Elysium. That in the mid-22nd century, the world population grows too large, causing food and water shortages to be common. And in the year 2174, the spacecraft Elysium, a 60,000-person ship, launched to reach the planet Tawnis, a new Earth-like planet for humans to colonize. Unfortunately, sometime during the voyage, a transmission from Earth saying that the Elysium was the last remnants of humanity and that Earth was destroyed. At the same time, Gallo explains that Pandorum started with his crew when they heard the message. It did not sit well with the crew, and they fell into madness, killing each other until there was only one. He became a self-proclaimed king, releasing those in hypersleep and banishing them off to the cargo hold. When the fun was over and he became bored, he decided to go back into hypersleep with no one controlling the ship. As time went on, the ship became lost in space, and within it, a new world of evil grew. Bauer and his group wake up tied up in chains, realizing that the cook drugged them and is planning to eat them. Bauer convinces the cook to let them go so that they can stabilize and reset the reactor, for all power would be lost without it. When they reach the reactor, they find that underneath is the main area where all of the mutants sleep, and they have to sneakily reset the reactor. The bridge they were trying to cross begins to collapse and Bauer falls toward the pit, but is saved by another ledge. The woman is able to cross to the other side while the farmer holds up the bridge. Bauer sees a ladder, but he will have to go through all of the mutants. He wraps himself in the bloody dirty clothes and crawls toward the ladder. The cook drops a flashlight and awakens the mutants. Bauer quickly climbs up a ladder to get to the reactor controls, and the farmer drops the bridge and distracts the mutants while Bauer works on the reactor. They manage to reset and activate the reactor, killing some of the mutants below them. The ship is able to receive power, and Peyton is able to get into the bridge. Gallo becomes increasingly agitated because he wants to eject the rest of the sleeping pods out of the ship. Peyton traps him into one of the sleeping chambers. Gallo somehow escapes the pod and has a sedative. While they wrestle over the sedative, Peyton manages to inject the sedative. It is revealed that Gallo is a hallucination and that Peyton and Gallo are the same. Bauer, the woman, and the cook run from the remaining mutants, but the cook traps Bauer and the woman in one of the hallways with the mutants behind another door. The farmer encounters the leader of the mutants and begins to fight for his life. He is able to kill the mutant leader, but unfortunately, is also killed by a mutant child. The cook manages to get to where Gallo is, but Gallo kills him when he arrives. Bauer and the woman manage to escape the hallway and make it to where Gallo is. The mutants chase them until Bauer stops them at the bridge door. Gallo reveals that he killed the rest of the crew, including the real Lieutenant Gallo, and stopped the hypersleep rotation. Bauer asks Gallo where the ship is, and with the ship powered, Gallo opens the shutters of the bridge windows, revealing that the ship is adrift in deep space with no stars visible. The shock causes Bauer to fall into insanity, and Gallo takes advantage of him to argue that the ship is all they have, and it is how they must survive in this new world. The woman sees bioluminescent ocean life outside of the ship windows, revealing that they have been on Tawnis this entire time. The computer shows that it has been 923 years since the mission launched and the ship reached Tawnis 800 years prior, landing itself in the ocean. Gallo still tries to stop them, but Bauer hallucinates an imminent attack from the mutants through the vents. He breaks the glass of the bridge window and water pours into the ship. Bauer and the woman climb into an escape pod while Gallo and the remaining mutants drown. Bauer and the woman reach the ocean surface, seeing part of the ship above the water. The flooding triggers an emergency response and ejects all of the sleeping pods out of the ship. Bauer and the woman see a green coastline with a large waterfall, bringing hope and survival to humanity, with a new human Tawnis population of 1,213. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos of something interesting.